This meeting is in person. It's important for all TSMO members to attend our meeting in person, so committee members are asked to be present at this board meeting, so we'll have a quorum. Members of the public will still be able to participate virtually. We encourage them to do so. There are two public comment points in the meeting. Members of the public attending in person who want to speak need to fill out a comment card and give it to Rachel. Those attending on Zoom who want to speak can use the raised hand feature on the Zoom screen. We also accept comments by email or phone message before the meeting. This time I'd like to recognize Mr. Eric Hill for agenda review.
Good morning, excuse me. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, committee members in the boardroom and those online, and to folks in the audience. Welcome to our TSMO committee meeting. Couple of announcements that I want to make, but before I get to that, I do have a list of new members. And Mr. Chairman, if you will indulge me, rather than try and just introduce these new members, I would like for us to go around and just introduce ourselves and agencies that we represent. That's going to make my job easier. So, Mr. Chairman, I'm Eric Hill, in case anyone in here does not know that. I am the liaison to this committee, and I do work for Metroplan Orlando. So, Mr. Chair, I'll give you the progress.
As I mentioned before, I'm Brian Sanders, chairing the TSMO meeting with Orange County. I'm Orange County's Transportation Planning Manager.
Lee Pullum, I'm with the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District, and I'm a planner.
My name is Shad Smith. I'm the city engineer and public works director for the city of Longwood.
I'm Brent Poole. I'm with the Central Florida Expressway Authority.
Hi, Hazem Al-Sar, Orange County Traffic Engineering Chief Engineer.
Adam Mendenhall. I'm the City of Sanford Planning Manager.
And I'm Tony Nelson, and I'm with Seminole County. Excuse me. I'm the county engineer.
Morning, I'm Cameron Crandall. I'm the Deputy Public Works Director at the City of St. Cloud.
Morning, Alyssa Idekadel. I'm with the City of Maitland. I'm the city engineer.
Good morning. I'm Christina Colon, Executive Director of Transportation and Transit for Osceola County. And I really appreciate this approach because I was new not too long ago and everybody knew me, but I knew no one else. So thank you.
Christella Shea, I do land use and transportation planning for the Greater Orlando Aviation Authority.
Hi, I'm Amy Martello with the City of Winter Garden, and I'm the assistant to the city manager.
Steve Krug with the City of Ocoee, Public Works Director.
Paul Yergain, City of Oviedo, Assistant City Engineer.
Doug Jamison with Lynx. I'm the Program Administrator of Innovation.
Hi, this is Eric Gordon with Traffic Operations with Florida's Turnpike Enterprise. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Michael Lopez. I'm a planner at the City of Lake Mary.
Good morning. I'm one of the newbies, Phil Hirsch from the City of Winter Springs. I'm the city manager.
Good morning. I'm also a newbie. My name is Luann Huynh. I'm with UCF and I'm the Director for Parking and Transportation.
Good morning, Hong Lim, City of Winter Park. I'm one of the engineers that focus on transportation.
Gary Yeager, I'm with Osceola County Traffic Operations.
Good morning, Lenny Barden, City of Altamont Springs, City Engineer and Transportation Engineer.
Good morning, Maria Tejera. I am the city's transportation engineer in Orlando.
Good morning, Kelly Brock. I'm the Public Works and Utilities Director for the City of Castleberry.
Good morning, Nabil Mohaisin, Signal System Engineer, City of Orlando.
Good. And to close out the loop, Rachel.
Good morning, I'm Rachel Frederick, Board Services Coordinator with Metroplan Orlando.
And she keeps us all together and on target. So some announcements. We have Mobility Week starting in October. The DeLand Sunrail Station is open for commuters. There's an alternative now for you. Instead of driving your vehicle on I-4, The Blind American Experience will occur on October the 30th. And then the 8th Annual Bike 5 Cities for those ardent cyclists. That is going to be happening in October. And there's information on each of these events in case you haven't received it. We can certainly provide it to you. Laura Bauk, I think she's here. No, many of you know Laura Bauk. The traffic engineers, I know you know Laura Bauk because she helps you with your traffic signal timing. In addition to that, Laura's been promoted to manager of project development. So when you see her, congratulate her on her new position. She'll still be working with you on the traffic signal retiming until we fill her position. But this is a wonderful opportunity for her. And it's also an indication of the evolution that Metro Plan Orlando is going as an MPO. That's been one of the things that I have been voicing over the years, is the evolution of the MPO and what we do. So we want to congratulate her on this opportunity. The 2050 MTP is moving along according to schedule, and updates all the technical work and outreach activities are summarized in the agenda package that you have today. There are a few items that we want to bring to your attention, which are summarized here. The first is that we are beginning to develop the prioritization methodology for candidate projects in the MTP, and we're asking for your feedback to help us craft the initial goal area weighting. Please respond to this survey by September the 6th so that we can include your thoughts into the first draft. This link will also be included in your agenda packets, and I will send you out a reminder following today's meeting. The survey is painless. It should take you less than 5 minutes. The second item is that we are actively meeting with your agencies to discuss draft off system needs assessments. We completed the state highway system review earlier this month, and now we're coming back to finish identifying needs throughout the regional network. Feedback from your agency will be due September the 13th. If you have not already scheduled your coordination with the 2050 MTP team, please respond to Taylor's email as soon as possible, and each of you should have received an email from Taylor on this. And if you have any questions, Taylor's in the room, and I think everyone has access to her email as well as telephone number. Mr. Chairman, I believe that is all that I have. I do just want to remind everyone that we have FDOT is hosting an artificial intelligence capability maturity model workshop on August the 29th. That was scheduled August the 1st. But it was rescheduled to August 29th. And I think everyone received the notice from FDOT. So that's one of the things that I left off of my announcements. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I am done, and I will turn it back over to you.
Very good.
Oh, one thing. We have our safety moment. That's what I forgot.
Thank you, Eric, and good morning, committee members. Earlier this month, first week of August was Stop on Red Week, and so we're kind of extending it out to the month. And as I was thinking about red light running, I was reminded of a story told to me by an employee at a bike shop a number of years ago. He was at this intersection, this is Orange Avenue at Colonial, and he was on his bike heading south. And he said he had a habit of that when the light would turn green, he would count to 5 before entering the intersection. Just pay attention, note there the sight line on the left side of the image, all right? So the light turned green here and he started counting, and the car beside him pulled into the intersection. And at 3, that car was T-boned in front of him. So, it just speaks to a number of issues, right? The sight lines and just the magnitude of the problem. And so speaking of the magnitude, we have about 170 KSI crashes per year involving traffic signals, red light running, and about 21 of those are fatalities. Nearly half of these involve drivers who are 15 to 29, maybe not surprising. And then also another half involving distracted driving. So this points to the need for education in a couple of avenues. Engineering approaches. I identified a number of these. The folks in this room maybe even have some others that I'd be happy to hear about. But yeah, improving signal timing, of course. The red light indicator lights that are so useful for law enforcement, so one person can work the signal. And of course, automated enforcement, the controversies around that, but we know it works. And then another option is just getting rid of the signal and replacing it with a roundabout where that's feasible. And then there's the behavior side of things. You saw the teen and 20-something drivers. Well, driver training, a little more work there. Enforcement on the distraction. And just for all of us, just going back to that initial story, being more of a defensive driver or a defensive walker, that making sure that that intersection is clear before we enter. So that concludes my safety moment. Be happy to take any questions or recommendations on other engineering countermeasures.
Questions for Mike? Very good. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that always. Now we have the next item, which is agency reports. This is an opportunity for any of our partner agencies to speak to the community. If there are any partners wishing to update during this slot, please see Rachel. And we ask that that's coordinated about a week prior. You could speak to Eric as well on that. So today we have Amy Beckman from our regular report out from FDOT. Amy, you recognized.
Good morning. Thank you all. Hope everybody's having a fantastic Friday. I'm going to keep it pretty short today. I am going to start with a fantastic Friday news, a little bit of a celebration here, sponsored by the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials, AASHTO for short, which I will use because that's a long name. They sponsor a prestigious recognition of transportation projects that impact communities, recognize connectivity and mobility for bicyclists and pedestrians, enhance traffic efficiency. FDOT is a part of the Southeastern Regional Division of AASHTO, which includes other DOTs in Arkansas, Louisiana, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, and West Virginia. Just this week, we found out that FDOT District 5, which of course, as you know, covers 9 counties in the Central Florida area, is proudly able to announce that out of the 10 winning projects in the Southeastern region, 2 were in Florida, both of which were in District 5 and both of which were here within Metro Plan Orlando's planning area. FDOT District 5 was the only, as I said, district to win in the state of Florida. So the 2 awards that won were the Wekiva Parkway, Section 7A. It won the Quality of Life and Community Development category, which is described as innovative projects that provide a better solution to connect their communities to businesses, jobs, healthcare facilities, and recreational activities, while encouraging a mix of transportation modes. Priority is given to projects that enhance and support transit and non-motorized transportation. Project nominees had to demonstrate community involvement and interaction and must illustrate the public benefit for customers or users. Section 7A transformed 3.5 miles of the Wekiva Parkway corridor into an elevated expressway with parallel non-tolled frontage roads for local traffic. Section 7A enhances safety for people and wildlife. This river basin is home to rare and threatened species, including the black bear and more than 25 springs. Long-distance, higher-speed traffic on the elevated expressway is now separated from wildlife and local traffic on the frontage roads, and roundabouts at cross streets have reduced serious left-hand collisions for those leaving adjacent neighborhoods. This parkway stretch is relieving congestion on local roads, improving commutes, and making it easier to travel to key destinations in Lake Orange and Seminole counties. And up to 24,000 vehicles per day used Section 7A, and as well as a new trail that supports both bicyclists and bikers and cyclists. Our other award was the Orange Blossom Trail Pedestrian Safety Improvements. It won in the Small Project Safety category, which is described as projects that were completed to address safety concerns and issues and were successful in doing so through the use of proven countermeasures, Projects in this category serve as success stories for other transit agencies looking to try something new or innovative to drive down crashes. Projects in this category should include all road users, including vulnerable road users. The Orange Blossom Trail from Holden Avenue to 34th Street has seen 70 bicycle and pedestrian involved crashes with 57 injuries and 13 fatalities within this short 1.2 mile stretch from January 1st of 2014 to December 31st of 2019, so a 5-year span. This area was deemed as the deadliest corridor for people walking and biking within Central Florida. So FDOT made it our mission to end crashes in this area. Over time, the department continued to add more and more safety features. While crashes reduced in time, the department continued its efforts. Now with a total of 6 pedestrian hybrid beacons, raised crosswalks, in-road lighting, and median fencing to prevent pedestrians from crossing the road where there is no crosswalk present, there have been no reported fatalities or serious injuries in this stretch of road. The important safety project has helped to create a safer walking environment, encouraging more users to feel that using transit is a safe and viable option. In fact, studies say that transit is 10 times safer than driving. So if we can improve that experience around the actual transit trip, we improve safety overall. That being said, the only other remaining item I have for you today is I do want to bring to attention that we do have a road closure scheduled for Sand Lake Road from the 25th of this month through the 29th overnight, September 3rd, just after the Labor Day holiday, as well as September 9th and 10th. This will take place as early as 11 p.m. through 6 a.m. The closures are necessary for us to place very large new bridge structures on that Sand Lake Road area, and those beams that we're placing they weigh 72 to 75 tons, and so there'll be multiple cranes lifting those up and placing them. So the closures are unfortunately necessary for that Sand Lake Road area, but we will keep it as short as we can. If there are any questions, I'm happy to take them. Thank you so much.
The Sand Lake closure, that's at I-4, right?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, I apologize. Yes, thank you.
Great. Well, those are two very impressive projects for DOT. I commend DOT, and I hope everyone has had an opportunity to experience those projects. Very transformative on Orange Blossom Trail. I've looked at that, monitored it, and it is working. It really is, and it's inspired us to take some bold steps in pedestrian safety as well. So thank you very much. You have a question, Richard?
Yes.
Push your button.
The one downside is that it seems to be diverting a lot of truck traffic over to Orange Avenue. I can't correlate it directly, but it seems like as soon as the speed humps have gotten in on OBT, that we see tremendous amount of additional truck traffic on through Edgewood, and especially at Orange Avenue in Michigan. There's a tremendous amount of backup. I'm a little bit late here because I've had to go through 3 light cycles to get through that light this morning. So just unintended consequences, maybe.
Okay. DOT could take a look at that and, see what the effects are. So, yeah, we do need to monitor these projects as well for side effects, and that's good report on that. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for the information. I've made note and I'll pass that along.
All right, Amy.
Thank you.
No other questions? Very good. Thank you. All right. Next, we will move on to the roll call. Rachel, could you please start the roll?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you can please remember to turn your microphone on and then off once called. Barden.
Here.
Brandel for Barkessa.
Here.
Brock.
Here.
Lopez for Carson.
Here.
Cologne.
Here.
Delachey.
Here.
Eid.
Present.
Elisar.
Present.
Elliot Moore.
Present.
Gordon.
Here.
Poole for Homayuni.
Here.
Horn.
Here.
Hirsch.
Here.
Hewen.
Here.
Jameson.
Here.
Kamal. Krug. Lim.
Here.
McGrath. Mendenhall,
Here.
Mahason Fatisam,
Present.
Nelson,
Present.
Ortiz, Pullum, Sanders,
Here.
Senerans,
Here.
Smith,
Present.
Tahira,
Here.
Martello for Williams,
Here.
Jaeger,
Present.
Yeargain.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes the roll call. We do have a quorum.
Very good. Thank you, Rachel. Now we'll hear comments from the public on the action items. We request that you provide your name and address for the record, and please hold your comments to 2 minutes or less. If any members of the public wish to comment or joining us virtually, please use the raise hand function and you will be recognized, or dial *9 on your keypad and we'll send you a prompt to unmute your mic. Lisa, do we have anyone joining us virtually that has a comment?
Mr. Chair, we do not have any hands raised on the virtual side.
Okay. Rachel, do we have anyone from the public here joining us, wishing to make a comment? Very good. Very good. Eric, any?
None, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Very good. Then we will move on. We have 3 action items today, and members making a seconding of
Mr. Chairman, it's 4.
4.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. It's 4 actions.
There are 4 action items today. Members making or seconding a motion, please state your name. Our first item is the approval of the June 28th, 2024 TSMO meeting minutes. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, Shad Smith, I move to approve the meeting minutes.
Second, LSR.
We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, motion approved. Sorry about that. The next item is FDOT amendment to the 2025-29 TIP. Our next action item is an amendment to the TIP. More information can be found in tab 2. We'll now hear from Mr. Sartorio. Go ahead.
Good morning, Chairman and committee members. This morning I have 4 TIP amendments for you. Additional information regarding these amendments located in tab 2 of your agendas. The first amendment will increase local funding for construction in fiscal year 2025 of the Central Castleberry connectivity improvements from Hibiscus Road to Marigold Road. And the next 3 amendments are for new projects supporting links with transit enhancements. All 3 of these projects receive congressional earmark funding for capital in fiscal year 2025. And these projects include bus shelter refacing and bus shelter solar technology, central station bus terminal retrofitting, and bus pullouts and safety enhancements. As I mentioned earlier, you have some additional information regarding these amendments located in tab 2 of your agendas. With that being said, unless there are any questions, we are asking for your recommendation of approval of the amendments. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions, comments? Okay, hearing none. Do we have a motion for approval?
Mr. Chairman, Shad Smith, I move to approve.
Okay, do I have a second?
As presented.
Second, Ramon Sanarans.
Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Jason. He's up again. Okay. I've been thinking it twice. All right, the next item is the FDOT roll forward amendment for 2025 to 2029. And Jason?
Sure.
Keep rolling.
So as was mentioned, next we have the roll forward amendment. This includes projects that have funds that were originally programmed in last year's TIP for fiscal year 2024. These funds were not committed at the end of the fiscal year on June 30th, so they automatically roll forward into fiscal year 2025 in FDOT's new adopted 5-year work program, which came out in July. On our end, we need to amend the TIP so that these funds remain consistent with the work program. This does not affect the cost or schedule of these projects. And as many of you know, this is a routine procedure that we go through at this time every year. The information regarding this roll forward amendment is located in tab 3 of your agendas. With that being said, unless there are any questions, we are asking for your recommendation of approval of the amendment. Thank you.
Any comments, questions? No, seeing none. Looking for a motion for approval.
Maria Tejera, motion to approve.
Oh, very good. Do I have a second?
I second Chad Smith.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Thank you again. Next we'll have approval of the Regional Vision Zero Action Plan with Mike Wilson presenting.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning again, everyone. So we have come to the end of this stretch of road for our Vision Zero Action Plan. You all have seen the plan, so I'm just going to go over what the review process, what we found through your input over the past month or so. So, we all got to see that in the last committee cycle. We had surveys as part of that process. It was all shared, not just with you, but with the general public for their input. And we also had an additional task force meeting to go over the plan and get their specific feedback since they've been involved with that project more intimately. Feedback on the plan, you see that we've got pretty good support on overall as far as the clarity of it, understandability of it, and the effectiveness, and good marks as well on how people felt about their role through the process. So the kind of feedback, of course, there's the kind of minor stylistic typo sort of things, such as wording, some refinements to the action items, some improvements for readability, both when it comes to images and graphics. There were some questions about some of the specific actions that we added clarity in that. Some people want some more specific details about some of the locations and some of the actions that could be implemented. So when it came down to the substantive changes, we added a section of what's next in the executive summary, so people had a better idea of where we're going forward once the plan is adopted. Little additional information on the top 30 corridors, making sure we identify the maintaining agency for that particular corridor, not just the location of it. A little update on our engagement statistics. And then adding some details on the corridors where we want to do roadway safety audits, particularly the ones that were tier 1 and tier 2. And then there's also the tier 0 ones where we already have work in progress. So we want to add some detail to how we're going to do the before and after studies so that we see the effectiveness of those projects. As part of this package, there is a resolution, of course, for adoption. It's going to sets that long-term goal of reaching zero by 2050, and it ties this Vision Zero plan to our 2050 Metropolitan Transportation Plan. It maintains the Vision Zero Task Force as an ongoing entity to advise MetroPlan on the safety implementation. And we commit to annually monitoring our performance as well as refinement of the plan. And we're already heading ahead with that, with submitting for another SS4A grant to expand upon the work that's already been done. We are really focusing on these transportation and underserved communities because of the disproportionate impact of traffic crashes, and that's reflected in the actions of the plan. And a key thing is reframing the whole idea of fatal and serious injuries as something that's preventable rather than just the cost of our increased mobility. And just acknowledging that this is a part of a a region-wide effort, not just a regional plan, but all of the local plans, making sure that they all knit together into an effective whole so that we're all moving forward on the safety front. So that concludes my presentation. And lastly, I just want to ask for your action to adopt this resolution and adopt the plan. And that concludes my presentation.
Very good. Thank you, Mike. Any of the members have questions for Mike? No? All right. Thank you for spearheading and running point on this effort. And at this time, we'll look for a motion for approval.
I'm Shad Smith. I move to approve the Vision Zero action plan.
Great.
Second, Ramon Simmons.
Great, very good. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion passed. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
All right, next, we have one presentation and we'll hold questions to the end of that. It's Smart Radar Systems, and Randy Wheeler is going to do the presentation. Randy, you're recognized.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm very honored to be here before this panel. And I imagine right now there's at least a couple of you thinking to yourself, school buses, why is this guy here? I'm the director of school bus transportation in Osceola County. And I want to introduce our friends from Smart Radar Systems. We've been calling them SRS. Because they have a unique solution that is specific for school buses, but it's not limited to school buses. It actually has applications in many other public transit systems. But I first want to set the stage for you a little bit. So I want to ask you to think about the concept of school busing. So every day, we rally young kids curbside to sometimes some very busy roadways, and we hope that nothing bad happens. And you might think that's a little cray-cray, but the concept of the school bus is to, when the school bus arrives at that rally point, the bus stop, to make that hopefully among the top 5 safest places they will be on the planet. I like to call it a safety zone or a refuge area. So everything about a school bus is engineered for the safety of the students. The color of the bus, the markings, the lighting systems, our operating practices, the location of the bus stop, the training of the drivers, the training of our mechanic, all of those things come together to make it the safest motor vehicle on the road. But in spite of all our precautions, unfortunate things do happen. And one of those is buses do have situations where they encounter pedestrians, bike riders, and such. And the outcome is typically very unfortunate. I imagine all of you remember recently here in Osceola County, there was a very unfortunate situation where a fatality resulted to a student who had just gotten off the school bus. And nationwide, those type of things happen more than you would imagine. I couldn't find any statistics before I got here today, but so our superintendent met with a group called Neo City Links, not the Tri-County Transit version, but and they are a group who are enticing Asian, specifically tech companies, to relocate to Osceola County. Perhaps we'll be the next Silicon Valley, I hope. And one of those companies is from South Korea, Smart Radar Systems, and we met with them
And we talked about one of our pain points, and that is encounters with pedestrians. And I'm not going to steal their thunder, but they kind of thought about it and they said, I think we can help you. And the last thing I'll say before I turn it over to Dr. Kim is what is amazing is this South Korean company, probably many of you don't know this, but the concept of a yellow school bus, that's a uniquely North American phenomenon. Very few other countries operate buses, and specifically in Asia, the students ride the mass transit. So the team from Smart Radar Systems had never really seen or touched a school bus before. So we welcomed them to our facility. We gave them a bus that they could learn how it works, and we gave them some guidance. And with that, I'm going to introduce Dr. Paul Kim, the CEO of Smart Radar Systems, to talk to you about the product that they have come up with. So, Dr. Kim.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and TSMO members. This is my honor to give you a status of radars in the school bus and then intelligent transport system. We are actually located in Korea, founded in 2017, but with our innovative radar technology, we were lucky to go to public last year, August, and then this month will be my first anniversary of our IPO. Back in Korea, we have facilities like shown in the slide, like a 360-meter track where we tested out all of our radars. During the COVID-19, we had a chance to work with the Tesla for their in-cabin radars to detect the babies left in the vehicle. Actually, there was a foundation of the radar, which we applied to the school bus in the Osceola County. Throughout the years, we've been working many US companies, including Tesla, General Motors, and then some defense companies, as well as commercial companies like Amazon Prime Air and then Amazon Robotics as well. So we thought that we know enough about the US businesses or US kind of environment, but when people in Osceola County called us, realized we didn't know anything about the school buses. And then over the months, actually, we've been working with the NeoCity Link for many years, and we decided to relocate to Florida. So we created a company called the SRS Mobility. This is a purely Florida-based company, and then even we're going to buy a house in one of the lake. I thought there are so many lakes, and then it's under construction. We are hoping to move in October timeframe. So we are dedicated to be a kind of a fully dedicated in Florida area. Then now let me talk about two problems that we have. As you know, sometimes the buses have a lot of issues, or with small children very close, so close to the school buses, or sometimes they crawl underneath the school bus. How are we going to detect this one? Also, as like the case in the Tesla, there are so many kids are left in the bus during the hot summer. So I even tested this out after 10 minutes. I cannot really endure and then suffocate. So we need to have a sort of a countermeasure for this one as well. And then early January, I got a phone call from Hunter Kim, who is an economic development director at the NeoCity Links. And then he told me about the incident that happened, asking me to bring the technology from Korea to help out the school bus environment. And then we came to Osceola County immediately with a team of members, and they spent many hours with Randy and his team. And then they gave us a kind of a direction how we're going to apply our radar to the school buses. And then, as he mentioned, we didn't know about the yellow bus error. And then they were kind of kind enough to give us a brand new bus. I was really surprised, brand new bus in 2024, and then allow us to make many holes and then modifications of the bus. So initially, February timeframe, we brought all the gadgets from Korea and then realized that's not enough. So we decided to send our members here and then spend many months closely working with Randy's team and then, figuring out all the kind of real life requirement. Initially, we are focused on the exterior perimeter scanning only, but based on their feedback, we thought that in-cabin scanning is also very important to detect, to figure it out the kids left on the bus. And then with a very close collaboration, within 3 or 4 months, we made it happen. And then we went through the real life kind of a proof of concept. And then that's the moment I realized that drivers in the United States, they are the valuable assets to you because they came to work at 4:30 in the morning and then go out 5 o'clock. And then we are waiting for, the driver to come back with the real feedback. And then she came back at 5 p.m. and then she went out again for last shift. And I was wondering how they, work their long hours. And then that's the moment realized we need to make our solutions simple enough not to introduce any kind of driver intervention at all. So this system is just automatic, and then without the driver's intervention, it's going to do the auto scanning. And if anything happens, it will send an alarm message to the central systems. So we did that the end of June. Here's Randy, and then we had a press event with the 11 TV stations, and then now we are doing a more kind of a final preparation to reduce the cost because the cost is very important, and then safety as well. So we are in filing all the necessary certificates. So by early October, every system will be ready to go with a minimize the cost. So that's a kind of a status. And then why radars? Because a camera can do everything. The problem is a privacy. And then when the weather gets bad, the exterior scanning, for example, foggy day or the rainy days, camera may not work. In case radar will be a perfect kind of alternative. Also, in-cabin scanning, this is a kind of a graphics. When we work with the car manufacturers for their in-cabin radars. Also, we apply the same technology to the public restrooms in Korea. So some of the subway systems, restrooms, they do now have our radar system to figure out emergency situation. For example, some people, got a heart attack and it goes down, then camera cannot detect it because of the privacy issues. We use a radar to figure the moment and then send the message to the central station. So it's already widely deployed in Korea. So we decided to bring those exterior radars and interior radars, which were proven many years to here. And then throughout our proof of concept, Osceola County School Districts gave us a lot of kind of feedback. And then that's the moment to realize our solution has to be cost effective. Scalable means it can be applied to the many size of vehicles. The operation has to be easy and without any driver intervention. And then since we are using the microwaves, it has to be very safe to the human body. Also, the system has to be reliable because it's not reliable, then you need to go through a lot of kind of a difficult maintenance. That means the installation has to be easy, and then the maintenance it will have to be easy as well. So with this kind of aspects in our mind, we actually made this solution. So any typical school bus will have 4 radars, one in front, 2 sides, and the one underneath the bus. There is a 5th radar underneath the bus to figure it out the movement of bus. Normally, you can use a GPS to see if the bus is in motion or in the station status, but GPS sometimes it doesn't work in certain environment. So we decided to use our own radar to figure out the speed of the vehicle without being able to connect it to the bus at all. That means the installation will be much easier. Also, the Osceola School District was kind enough to let me drive the bus in the closed environment to see the field that drives a kind of motion. And then it was very complicated. So many like mirrors and the students. I mean, it's a simulated environment, but I don't think that they have time to look at the display. So we decided to bring a small LED indicator with a sound alarm beeping. So I think that's enough for driver to on when anything happens. So for example, this is a graphical figures, and then if someone gets close to the like 5.5 feet ranges in the front, then the alarm will sound. Within 2 feet, another alarm will sound. If someone crawls underneath the bus, then that's an emergency situation. So you have a very loud beeping, kind of with all the LEDs on. So this is a kind of a mechanism what the X-ray radar works. Also, in-cabin scanning, that's a challenging because sometimes children, plays hide games. They intentionally, hide underneath the bench, or sometimes they left out. Obviously, the drivers, when they turn off the ignition, we know that the loud sound will come out, and then driver has to walk to the rear of the bus and push the button. That's the moment that they need to search for the kids. But sometimes kids are very good at hiding. So we installed the 17 radars, 11 radars underneath the bench, and then 6 radars in the ceiling, and then everything is a kind of a scale level. We use a daisy, a little bit jargon, but the daisy chain technologies. So as the bus gets larger, then you just add one more kind of a component like that. And then we give enough time for driver to turn off the alarm. That's kind of a 45 seconds. After that, the radar will spend the 30 seconds to make 3 scannings. If anything happens, then the radar system will send the alarm message to the central station. So that doesn't need any driver intervention at all. And then we actually, when we do the proof of concept, we actually, adults actually was a kind of a big guinea pig to test out all the functions. But we actually tested with the small children in Korea to make sure these radars are working for, the small kids and school-age kids. So based on the feedback I mentioned, that we need to meet the kind of 6 aspects of the Scooper solution, starting from the cost effectiveness and all the way to the easy installation and the maintenance. And then without driver's intervention, we believe this radar system can be a good candidate for the Scooper safety for the children's life. Next step, if we have time and energy, then what we're going to do is we're going to use camera systems to count number of students coming on board and then out of the bus. We know that the privacy protection is very important, so we're not going to take the face of the students. We're going to take the kind of a top of a head to figure out the number of students. Obviously, you can use the barcode or the RFID, but students sometimes they don't do that. So this one again, you don't need any students intervention. The system will be automatic, and then eventually it will be followed by autonomous emergency braking system, where you have everything function in your cars. But unfortunately, the school bus does not have that. So in order to make that happen, our flagship radar called the imaging radar, and then combination of a camera plus the vehicle control has to be kind of tried out, and then go through a lot of a proof of concept. So that's about the school bus safety. We are working with Randy. Now I'm going to switch a little bit here to the radars in the ITS. So traditionally, as you know, the radars are used in the military environment, where on the left-hand side, the small dots radars are detecting objects based on small dots. But with our advanced imaging radars, now the radars play functions like a LiDAR. So on top of the screen, you have many colored dots. That's a detection made by our 4D imaging radars, and then it can now recognize the shape. So when you look at the bottom of the screen, you will see that our radar functions just like a LiDAR, and then now the radar is able to capture the motion of the martial art. So someone is playing the taekwondo, and then with the AI-based perception, right now radar is can figure out the movement. So we are lucky to work with the many ITS player to utilize this technology in the real field. So this is a real cases. So there is a company called No Traffic in Israel, and then they've been very active in the ITS in the United States. This is a one use case when they apply the radar and the camera fusion combined with the AI capability in Tucson area. So they appeared in the TV station CBS, and then their CCTV camera has our radar inside the CCTV. So before the system, a driver has to spend 14 minutes and 3 signals to go through the intersection. Now, with a combination of the camera, the radar, and then AI engine with a proper traffic signal control, a driver only has to spend 4.5 minutes, and then they will have to wait only 1.5 traffic signals. So this has been working like last 5 years in the States, and then we have another case in Korea where we use our radar to detect the speeding vehicles. In normal cases, as you see in the picture, we use loop coil sensors in Korea, but that needs a lot of maintenance. Now they are getting rid of these loop coil sensors, and then instead use radars to detect the speeding vehicles. So we support the 2 cases. One is the radar in the CCTV, or separate to the CCTV depending on the angle of the cameras. So this has been widely deployed in Korea and then the United States, but there needs some improvement of these radars, because the traditional radar which I showed you actually has some limit, because range is limited, and then no lane separations. Today, when you drive Tesla cars, using their camera, they will show you all the cars, animated cars in the different lanes. Now with our 4D imaging radars, you can do the same thing to figure out number of cars, and then the car classification, and which lanes are those cars. So this is a real kind of a demonstration of our system installed in Korea. So normally, in case of Korea, there is a mandatory to have a license plate in the front of the car. So you only detect the speeding vehicle towards you. But in some cases, like motorcycles, they do not have a license plate in the front. So now you have to detect cars passing through the intersection with our imaging radar. So this advanced radar has high-end features, and then now, as you see on the right side of the picture, the radar can figure it out every car, just like a camera does, and then which lanes the car was in. So the reason why they want to use this radar complementary to camera is that sometimes camera may not work during the harsh weather conditions, thunderstorm, or the foggy days, or the snow days, which doesn't happen in Florida at all. And then in case the camera radar will be complementary to camera. And then this is a very unique application, which is happening in another country in Asia. They install our radar on the police car, and then detect up to 6 speeding vehicles in front of the police car. So instead of installing the stationary speed detector, they use a police car to detect many number of speeding vehicles, and then take the camera pictures to figure it out the license plate. So again, imaging radar is good at figuring out many number of up to 100 vehicles simultaneously, and then can figure out the movement. Now, lastly, this is a combination of a camera and the radar. We are applying this technology to autonomous driving with the car manufacturers. So instead of using just a camera only, radar can be complementary to the camera system and then can give you a lot of insight so that sometimes camera may not be able to detect the object correctly in case radar will kick in, or if radar has some false alarms, then the camera will help radar to figure it out. So with that, we are, thank you for giving me a chance to give you a status. And then as you see, the radar is a kind of has many use cases in the school bus and then in the ITS. Also, it has a lot more applications like drones and then autonomous driving. I hope we can bring all those kind of advanced technologies to Florida area. And then thank you for listening to my presentation.
Thank you very much for that presentation. Very good, very good. Do any of the members have any questions?
I have questions.
Yeah,
Great.
Thank you for a very interesting presentation.
Yeah.
With all this amount of data being collected in multiple locations to disseminate the unit and allow this function, we have ATMS, for example, the city of Orlando. We will run into a lot of issues with data and storage requirements, which would cause us problems. How do you see this is functioning with this enormous amount of data that may be required?
So, I mean, that's a very good question. And then our radar is supposed to two modes. One is a on-device edge AI. Another one is a centralized AI. So, like you mentioned, that the radar will collect a lot of data, but data can be processed on device itself without, and then only the result can be sent to the central station. That's the way how you can save the amount of data and then don't have to run the massive data sets. Also, we also support a centralized architectures where now you send all the radar data to the central location. Then you will have these problems. But fortunately, some of our kind of partners, they are very good at handling those kind of massive data sets. So if you need, then I can introduce you. But my saying is that we do support the own device edge-based kind of a processing, which minimize the data processing for your side.
The follow-up is usually a bus lifespan is, I don't know, 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
How often would we have to do the upgrades of the system?
You don't really have to do upgrade, and then you mean the software upgrade, right? Not the hardware.
Right.
Yeah, the software wise, I don't think it needs to be upgraded, but we support a so-called software-defined vehicle where the simple software upgrade, just like a Tesla does, will enhance the function. But that's only the case when the enhancement is needed. But we wanted to make sure there is no extra kind of a software upgrade. But again, the software upgrade is very easy because everything is scalable. Once you put the software in this kind of a centralized controller, it's going to be populated through the radars. You don't have to touch individual radars at all.
And the last question I have is from economic feasibility compared to the camera detection, how does that compare?
Yeah, that's a very good question as well. So initially, when we first came here, we brought a very complex kind of a controller, which is very expensive. And then it runs on the kind of a NVIDIA like a GPU system, and then it takes a long time to boot up the system. And then we realized that's not necessary. So we went back to Korea, and the two come up with a very simplified, like less than $200 controller only. So the basic platform is very cost effective. And then radars are already in the mass production. It's in the United States for more than 4 years. So some of your traffic collection trucks, they do have our radars. So it's already in the mass production. It's a cost minimized. So compared to the camera system, I believe it's cost effective. Yeah, I know the price ranges of the camera, and then we come up with a less number of kind of pricing point for that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for asking good questions.
What else? Well, very good,
Okay,
Dr.
good.
Kim. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much.
And thank you, Mr. Wheeler, as well. It's a very good presentation. There's huge number of applications for this. And it's quite timely as we're looking at school bus safety and putting cameras and other detection devices on them right now as well for us. So thank you. Thank you.
Sure, my pleasure.
All right. Okay, that concludes our presentations for today. We have 3 common presentations with ATTAC, and we encourage those who are able to stay to see those. They include the 2024 Public Opinion Survey results, the status update for electric vehicle readiness study, and a presentation on Link's autonomous shuttle deployment. Okay. Upcoming meetings of interest, there's a number of meetings in your agenda. Most notable are the MPO will meet on September 11th, 2024, and the next TSMO meeting will be on October 25th at our normal time of 8:30. At this time, I'd like to ask if there's any comments from members. No? Okay, very good. Seeing none.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, we do have a few minutes. If we could go around to table, and if any of the members have any updates on projects, they could give us a quick summary on that status.
Sounds great.
Start yourself.
Oh, so, there's tons of projects going on in Orange County. We have a number of road capacity projects. We're working on a very iconic pedestrian bridge at Sand Lake Road and International Drive. We'll pitch it over to Hasm for any other Orange County projects we have going on.
Yeah, we're working on the lab-funded project for countywide cabinet upgrades, and that's going to be the first deployment of ATC cabinets in Florida. We're hoping to finish the design in the next couple of months so we can advertise for construction.
Also, Orange County funded an accelerated transportation safety program, working out very, very well. There's a bunch of safety projects, and we have also funded some improvements at Links for shelters and increasing headways on a number of routes. And then we've seen a real good response for that. The ridership is continuously going up on those corridors. So those improvements are showing real good promise. Which way you want to go?
It's your meeting, so.
Always to the right.
To the right. I don't have anything to report.
City Longwood, you don't really have anything to report on the TSMO side of things. We just have lots of sidewalk projects, stuff like that going on, so.
Nothing big to report from CFX.
For the city of Sanford, we are going to be adopting our transportation action plan, or the Vision Zero action plan, coming up here on Monday, along with setting our goal year for reaching that Vision Zero. So we're happy to be moving along and trying to make our community more safe on those fronts.
For Seminole County, we're getting ready to also accept our Vision Zero action plan that's going to the board, I believe, next Tuesday. We're also working on our 2045 transportation mobility plan. And with that mobility plan, we're going to be generating quite a bit of projects. And we're also working on a sidewalk project, capacity project, bunch of different things going on in Seminole County.
Got a lot of stuff going on in the city of St. Cloud for transportation. We just completed our Florida Avenue Trail, which is a shared use path that connects our East Lake Toho to our historic downtown St. Cloud. The DOT just finished pedestrian activated signals for crossing US 192 close to some schools. We're very happy about that. And we're finishing up, about to bid out a lap project for some more sidewalk, safe route to school projects in the downtown area. And finally, we're also adopting our transportation and mobility master plan here in the next month or two.
City of Maitland, we are planning to adopt the Vision Zero next month for September council meeting. We don't have a whole bunch in TSMO. We've got a lot of sidewalk projects that are joined with our septic to sewer. And then adding in anytime we go for our water main upgrades or our septic to sewer, adding in sidewalk or paths that weren't there before. And we have a few grants for connectivity of the trails, specifically the crossover of I-4 from the west side to the east side of Maitland that I-4.
All right, in Osceola County, there is quite a bit of construction going on. So if you haven't been through Osceola County lately, expect to see a lot of orange barrels and cones. So I'm not going to highlight those, but I am going to bring up, and Gary may have more TSMO items to bring up, but we are preparing applications for 2 electric vehicle charging hubs for the charging and fueling infrastructure grants. They were supposed to be due the 29th of August, but we got word yesterday they're extending the deadline. So if any of you haven't looked into that, and there's still time to do that. So we've got a site we're planning to apply for at I-4 and Champions Gate, and one on near 192 and the Turnpike interchange.
So the city of Kissimmee is adopting the Vision Zero plan, and basically we have a big project we're going through right now. It's called Connect Kissimmee. This is improvement for the downtown of Kissimmee, city of Kissimmee, and that will be pedestrian friendly, wider sidewalks, wider bike lanes, and high-rised bricks intersection with more safety, procedure we taken. So we adopting the Vision Zero a lot with this project. It's supposed to be starting construction next year. We also have some TSMO project, which is, for example, we just had like notice to proceed, or basically concurrence. I'm sorry if I correct that, with West Oak project. Is big intersection we have in the city. That's like a traffic improvement for the intersection, ITS, and also sidewalks. We also have other ITS project, which is basically working with the Sunrail, going through the city of Kissimmee. There are intersection called Neptune Road and Lawrence Boulevard. Basically, we're doing the study and collecting data for improving the back line of the cars by the Sunrail, and trying to do the improvement for the traffic on that intersections. Thank you.
So the Greater Orlando Aviation Authority will be doing a master mobility study in the coming year or two. And we'll also be looking at the deployment of advanced air mobility and what that looks like throughout the region, as well as how it integrates on and off airport.
For the city of Winter Garden, our city commission approved our Vision Zero safety plan at last night's commission meeting. That was exciting. And that's just one part of our overall transportation plan for the whole city, which is in development.
With the COE, we've also adopted the Vision Zero action plan of several projects, safety projects going on, but probably the biggest one we have is we're upgrading all our school zones to camera traffic enforcement, similar to intersection cameras, and that should be implemented within the next 6 months.
In Oviedo, we're adopting the Vision Zero action plan September 16th. That'll go to City Council. And I think most of our projects right now are intersection improvements, either signal modifications, adding turn lanes, that kind of thing.
City of Edgewood, we have no current projects. Don't have any updates from links, but I am really looking forward to that shared presentation coming up. So I understand that's really good.
Doug, who's doing that presentation?
I don't know, some good looking guy from links.
Well, that's tough to follow up. Thanks. Yeah, Florida's Turnpike, number of major widening projects going on between here and I-75, Central Florida. We're also going to be widening soon in southern Orlando on the way to Kissimmee, St. Cloud area, and widening the 417 in Seminole County. So lots of major projects underway. Thank you.
I have nothing to to report for the city of Lake Mary at this time.
We were happy yesterday to activate a fully signalized intersection with the cooperation of the DOT at State Road 434 Michael Blake Boulevard just yesterday. So that was a very welcomed improvement considering how heavily traveled that corridor is. And we're working with MPO right now on going through the procurement phase with deceleration right turn lane at Winding Hollow Drive in Winter Spring as well.
For UCF, we're currently in our 90-day review period for the campus master plan. So that's going to be until October 31st. Other than that, not much to share other than we just started our first week of fall semester. So looking forward to see how ridership comes in from our transportation system. Thank you.
For Winter Park, we've adopted the Vision Zero Safety Action Plan with the City Commission, and we completed 2 major CIP projects. We added a southbound right turn lane at Fairbanks and Denning, and also we completed another, well, substantially completed another phase of our Denning Trail from Webster to Solana, and we're currently working on a design from on Denning from Orange Avenue all the way to Mead Gardens that will connect with the Orlando Trail. So.
Other things in Osceola County is we do have some TSMO projects that are happening, but they're all regular conventional projects. One thing we're doing is I heard someone else was adding some school bus or school speeding cameras. We have 32 that should be active starting in December. So we're joining that as well.
In Altamont Springs, we're planning to adopt Vision Zero in October. We've recently updated and adopted our mass transportation plan, our multimodal transportation element, as well as our comp plan. And we have 2 projects that are, one's wrapping up construction, our Flex Path, which is a part of our Crane Rides system, which that should be completed by the end of this calendar year, which will create a trail network from Seminole, Wekiva all the way to Sunrail, which I think is pretty impressive. And then we have a LAP project that's coming in on a paper street that we're connecting about 3,000 new people to a trail network, and also Lake Orienta Elementary School, which will then connect a trail system all the way to our main activity center at the mall.
In the city of Orlando, we have several projects, road widening and resurfacing projects. And right here in the downtown, Robinson has been going on for a long time, still construction in Robinson. In a different area, we are working towards getting automated speed enforcement in school zones. It's taking us some time to get there, but we're working on that.
The city of Castleberry adopted its Vision Zero action plan back in July. We have a lot in the pipeline and underway. We did a couple months ago by wrapping up our Sunset Drive and Southcott Drive projects. We extended our Greenway Trail by about 1.4 miles. So that was a nice project. So lots in the pipeline, lots coming up. I'm also going to be participating with the City of Orlando and other partners to present the evolution of complete streets at the upcoming Florida Planning Conference.
I have an aviation update for the Kissimmee Airport. One of our business partners, Shelter Aviation, had a groundbreaking, or actually ribbon cutting ceremony this week for an additional 30 hangars, which is a mixture of large and small T hangars and box hangars. And also we were just awarded an FDOT award for the General Aviation Project of the Year Award for a taxiway echo extension. And what it did was
improve the safety of the airfield. We had a large hangar that was in the runway safety area, so that was removed to put the taxiway in. It also increases the capability and capacity of the traffic flow on the airfield. And other than that, no other projects at the moment, but we do have a food truck flying event starting, actually it's on September 14th. It's a Saturday, it's from 10 a.m. to 3:30, about 3:30 p.m. So coming out, it's open to the public. We'll have about 6 food trucks. We have static displays. We're gonna have some military aircraft, C-130, T-45, the T-6, and some other aircraft, and also our local business partners will have aircraft on display also. So that's September 14th, 10 to 3.
From a traffic signal standpoint, the city of Orlando has been pretty active constructing signals. We have a number that came online this year, the last 6 months. We have a total of 6 of them. The last 2 were on Dowden and Innovation Parkway, and the other one is in Dowden and Founders. In downtown Orlando, we've just wrapped up this one shuttle project, which was led with the help of a pretty good-looking man, Mr. Doug Jamerson. Thank you.
The most interesting man in the world, right? And if I can just follow that up, in addition to Doug's presentation, we're trying to work with the city of Altamont Springs to do a field trip of their automated vehicle operation to be determined, and we will be providing information on that. And then also, the Florida Automatic Vehicle Summit is going to be September the 4th through the 6th in the great city of Tampa. Chairman?
Great. I failed to mention Humberto, the 27th, is that right? For the Vision Zero Action Plan approval for Orange County. So, all right, now we're at the last point of public comment. Lisa, do we have anyone joining us virtually that wants to make a
Mr.
comment?
Chair, we do not have any hands raised.
Okay. Rachel, anything new where you're sitting?
Nothing
No.
new, Mr. Chairman.
You've been right here. I
Yeah,
haven't seen anything.
nothing is coming.
Nothing on email. Okay, phone calls now. All right, with that, no further business, then we stand adjourned as the TSMO. Thank you.